What did I say to you just a few days ago? What did I say? There was heresy afoot in the government. And of course, what do the Brexiteers do? Every single time this happens, we've seen Steve Baker say that he wants to renegotiate Brexit in direct response to this because they cannot trust Rishi Sunak. And now it seems they cannot trust Jeremy Hunt, that he is the one behind these comments for a Swiss-style deal. And this has potentially caused another big Brexit rebellion in the Tory party. These rebellions cannot keep on going. The honeymoon period for Rishi Sunak at this point is well and truly over, but he just keeps on having rebellions. Rishi Sunak, at the moment, is just playing a constant game of whack-a-mole, just trying to keep the rebellions down as much as he possibly can. This does not spell a very good, shall we say, long tenure for a potential prime minister, because any policy that he wants to try and get through, as we've seen very recently, is not only now being met with a rebellion to try and extract concessions from him about that particular bill or that, that type of thing. We've seen the levelling up bill and onshore wind farms being very sort of heavily targeted by the Tory rebels, sort of wanting to put that in. And then you've got another group of Tory rebels who are upset that these rebels are trying to get concessions. So this is just going to start a vicious cycle. It's just going to be a completely vicious cycle of, well, if they got concessions, then we're going to get concessions in this other bill. And, oh, they got concessions in that bill, so we're going to get concessions in this bill. It has become so many of these different factions just fighting against each other. And at this point, I know I've talked about sort of a civil war happening before, but is it now happening? Is it really open sort of full-scale warfare? I don't think it is. I think this is merely just the opening skirmishes of a true battle that is yet to come. I think the true civil war will probably come after the general election, after they lose. That is certainly for sure. But it is very likely that this infighting could very well escalate into a full-scale civil war. And now that we have seen this Brexit heresy come out of the government, guess who the Brexiteers are going for? They're going after Jeremy Hunt, with some sources saying they want him out of the job as early as next year. Just imagine that. There is a rebellion to replace the Chancellor of the Exchequer already over just these single comments. How dare you even bring up that you might want a Swiss-style deal? Heretic, begone. So let's find out more about this craziness that's going on in our government, shall we? Because, good Lord. I've said it before, I think it's just going to be one rebellion too many that brings down Rishi Sunak. But, and like I say, we're getting a general election next year now, almost for certain. I've said it before, I think we might get a general election next year. Almost certainly, we are getting a general election next year. That is for certain, because it's just going to be one rebellion too many. It was the exact same with Boris Johnson. It was just scandal after scandal after scandal, and it would just be a point of one scandal too many. And that's what got rid of Johnson. And I think this is what will end up getting rid of Rishi Sunak as well. It will just be one rebellion too many. So before we go diving into this, please remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, buy me coffee. There's also the YouTube thank you button down below as well. And of course, the YouTube Pony Club you can join as well down below too. So we go to the London Economic with the title on this of Hunt could be out of the job by next year following Swiss-style Brexit rebellion. Jeremy Hunt's job could be at risk following rumours that he was the one scoping out a Swiss-style relationship with the European Union. The Sunday Times revealed last weekend that a senior government figures were looking at ways to try and secure closer economic ties with the EU as their country faces up to the realities of life outside the bloc. Hunt, who backed Remain in 2016, has indicated to staff that Rishi Sunak's administration may break its ties with the approach appointed by Boris Johnson to remove the vast majority of trade barriers. But this has provoked anger amongst Eurosceptic MPs, who have dubbed any such move as a Brexit betrayal. Sunak has been forced to furiously backpedal this week, sending out ministers to deny these rumours. Unfortunately for the Chancellor, this could be his head on the line when it comes to reshuffles next year. Multiple sources have said that Sunak may move to replace Hunt in a bid to try and appease the hardline Brexiteers, many of whom hold very influential positions within the party. Kat Neal, the political editor for The Tortoise, said that the Chancellor could linger on until the new year, but it will be difficult for him to survive much longer. And of course, this is the quote. I'm told tomorrow's planning includes some planted questions about the UK's relationship with the EU that Sunak will flat bat to show that there's no backsliding. One MP says that Rishi wants to stage a managed response to stop the coercion. Hunt could very well linger on to the new year, but it's difficult for him, says another source. Hunt calls the potential candidates in for a meeting, said that so much has been finalised that nobody's time to change for things to go ahead with the statement. Then he put it back in. Nick Tyrone has also shared rumours that Hunt will shoulder much of the blame for this Swiss-style uproar, and he will pay for it with his job. He commented, so he will become the latest Tory to be seen to have sinned against the Church of Brexit and cast out of the temple as an apostate. And yeah, that's what is going on at the moment. It's Brexit heresy. We've got to find the heretic. We've got to find them. We've got to find them. We've got to root them out. Root and stem completely ripped out of the office. They cannot be allowed to even dare question our precious Brexit. How dare you sin against Brexit in this church? Out, heretic, and be gone with you. That is the seriousness. I make a bit of fun of it, but that's the seriousness that's going on. You've got a chancellor who talks about telling some serious economic home truths that yes, doing this and doing Brexit in this hardcore way has damaged our economy quite badly, quite severely. The OBR, Bank of England, there's going to be, I can guarantee you, there's going to be studies coming out probably within the next year or so, also saying, hey, look about how bad Brexit is affecting our economy, guys. Should we actually, consider rethinking, relightening our, our trade with the EU? Maybe considering, economic alignment. You've got the UK check mark that has been yet again put on the back burner for a third time, still relying on the European Union standard check mark. So at the moment, because the Brexiteers are still so powerful in the Tory party, even though they took a walloping from Liz Truss and sort of her downfall, they are still a very powerful group in the party, and they are still very, very much in charge of the Inquisition, and they will hunt down anyone who even breathes a single word of any heretical stuff against their precious Brexit. And it could very well be that Jeremy Hunt may very well be shuffled out of the cabinet early next year. That is very, very likely because the Brexiteers are not going to stand for this. And then, of course, what happens? Well, you get a faction change. Who's in power? Who goes out of power? Who knows? You upset factions, we get more rebellions, and of course, as we said, you just get one rebellion too much. And of course, what happens? Rishi Sunak's government, which is a house of cards built on quicksand on an earthquake fault line, just crumbles like that. So, as always, thank you very much for watching, and of course, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a notification link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help and support the channel. And of course, we'll see you all next time.